Welcome to Real Reflections Podcast. I'm your host, Brittany K. This is our episode. Seventh episode. We back here for episode number 7. Of course, you guys know that I'm always so excited to chit chat with you guys. It has been some time since my last episode. I've been living life. I told y'all that me being 29, I'm just preparing myself for the peak of age 30. You guys know that anytime I am absent, at least that I'm always trying to work on something. So I just want to welcome any new listeners, and I'm so thankful for any returning listeners. So let's get into it. Reflections crew. As you guys know, we always like to start off with our hot topics, right? We got to get into the hot topics. So, the first hot topic is something that I've been kind of anxious to talk about. I have been seeing it like all over social media platforms, like every day. The amount of conversation that I'm starting to see regarding this topic has heightened. And I just feel like it wouldn't be me or I wouldn't be myself if I didn't speak on this situation. So I'm sure you guys have seen clips floating around. This topic is about B.Simone and her best friend. Her name is Shekinah. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I think her name is Shekinah or whatever. And if you like me, I am a podcast listener. I listen to B.Simone's Let's Try This Again podcast often because I do feel like she does have good topics, good conversations. Some of her guests bring on a lot of information and things that, you can learn from. I always like to tune into things that's going to put a fuel under me to do better or to take a look at things or certain aspects of my life. I like relatable content and things like that. But anyways, in her most recent episode, I really don't remember the title, so I'm not gonna give the title of the episode. But like I said, you can find her podcast on YouTube. I watched the YouTube. You can also find it, I guess, anywhere where you listen to your podcast. But like I said, the conversation had me raising my eyebrows a little bit. Specific parts of the conversation, because like I said, I'm not sure if other people are just going based off a little clip that they have seen or if they have watched the episode to its entirety, like watch the full episode. But the conversation, like I said, had me raise my eyebrows. And it's multiple parts of the conversation that, that made me raise my eyebrows. The first part was the best friend, Shekinah. She stated that she was struggling during a season of her life. And even though she has attachment to a successful person, that doesn't mean she gets the ultimate treatment or whatever, and when I say ultimate treatment, that isn't her words verbatim, but that's just what I took from it, meaning that just because I'm attached to somebody with success, that doesn't mean that, I don't carry my own struggles or my own financial burdens or whatever the case may be. And I understand that because it's a lot of successful people that have friends and family members that don't have the same benefit or whatever. Or they don't have people that's in the limelight that's there for them when they need it. But which Shekinah did say, it's not your responsibility or whatever the case may be. As she said, it's not her responsibility. But what made me raise my eyebrow was the friend stated that she had watched B.Simone cut checks to people who didn't mean nothing to her. She also said, like, during this time she was moving back into her parents' house as a single mom, she got her car repossessed. and all of that. But she had to make sure that her heart wasn't hardened, and that's, during that season, because it's like, we best friends. So my thing is if we best friends, I know everything that's going on with you, you know everything that's going on with me, even though I'm not expecting for you to do nothing for me. But during this season of time, and I'm, telling you what's going on with me, or, even if I'm not telling you, I'm saying, you see it. And during that time, you're saying that, you're doing things for the right people. You pay for somebody's divorce, or you're cutting checks to strangers, or whatever the case may be. So what to me felt like is, during that time, you didn't feel like your friend was the right person for you to help, and me personally, I just think that that's crazy. Even if somebody that I associate myself with, even if you're not asking me for help, what I'm saying, you're not extending your hand to me, but like me as a friend, my best friend, I'm watching her go through all these things back to back to back. You don't even extend your hand to ask me for help. If I got it, I'm going to make sure, that I can do whatever to help you. Even if it's something simple as is, okay, you in the food stamp line. I know that it's hard to have to give up everything it is that you have, and you have to move back to your parents' house. Okay, me personally, I would have sent sent the gift card, sent some flowers or whatever, because you're going through a tough season of your life. Here go a $500 gift card. Do whatever it is that you need to do for you and your kid. That covers groceries, personal items, whatever. But then it's just like the car repossession thing. I would have at least got my friend car out of the repossession. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is and what kills me is because everybody's on social media like, oh, you sitting right here next to her, and you mean to tell me that you didn't learn nothing? My thing is to say, like, who's to say that she wasn't learning stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, she probably is putting out the content or whatever. But if I'm putting out the content and everybody isn't watching my content, what does that matter? Because I'm doing the steps that I need to do, and I'm doing the things that I need to do, but I'm not getting the same benefit as my friend. You know what I'm saying? But everybody, and what kills me is because everybody needs to understand, everybody's mindset isn't to be a boss. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't have that mentality. Some people want to be a worker. You know what I'm saying? What if she just wanted to work? What if she got laid off from her job? People like, well, she shouldn't be living beyond her means. What if she was living right where she needed to be and doing all the things that she needed to do, but a certain situation happened? You know what I'm saying? But it's still, no matter what, at the same time, me being a successful person and knowing that I am able to do it, and also knowing that my friend is not calling out for me to do this for them, it gives me more of a reason to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why the friend even brought this situation up is because B.Simone was talking about how she had paid for people divorces and all this type of stuff, and a friend was like, well, it's been seasons of my life where I had to go through my own stuff, but I had to, not be resentful towards you, because you're knowing that I'm going through this stuff, but in the same time, you're not giving me nothing. Not that I'm asking for it, but I'm seeing you do things for strangers or whatever. But anyways, um, another part that made me raise my eyebrow was because the friend went on to say, well, Shekinah went on to say she remembered that she called B.Simone regarding like a business venture that she decided to step out on, or whatever the case may be. And you know B.Simone just was like, oh, what I'm saying, was kind of just like shady with it, like, oh. And B.Simone came back and was like, I had to call you back because I gave off like disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And she basically was like, I was upset and I really felt some type of way. And her friend was like, is you jealous? Like, like what it is. And B.Simone was like, I'm not jealous, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what I felt when you brought this up to me, but in so many words, I'm not jealous. I'm not mad. I'm not hurt. I just feel a way that I'm not supposed to feel. Now, my thing is I honestly feel like, and this is where I feel like a lot of friendships and a lot of things be taken out of context because, they made that episode, and when they made the episode, they maybe prepared their mind or whatever to know that they're going to receive a lot of backlash for it from it. Or maybe, it was a well needed conversation because B.Simone is on a fast, and in this fast, she's not understanding like what it is that she needs from this fast. And I feel like this conversation with her and her friend maybe was needed for her to get a reality. Maybe she's fasting from versions of herself that she thought she thought she had removed, but the whole time she didn't remove. This person still remains within her. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is or whatever. But the friend gave the business proposal or to B.Simone. B.Simone basically called the friend and was just like, it's something that I want to be a part of, but I really feel some type of way. I'm gonna put what I felt. She was like, I'm not happy for you because you're not doing it with me. Let's just sum it up. That's the way it sounded. I'm not happy because you're not doing it to me. And she goes on to say, like, everything she wants to do, she wants it to be a team. She wants to be a part of something. And me being me, and if I was Shekinah and I sat back and watched this episode, Shekinah was able to get a lot of things off her chest. Just basically telling B.Simone the type of friend that she is, like certain type of scenarios or whatever, because I feel like during this season of B.Simone's life, maybe she's open enough to take criticism that she probably couldn't have took before. But me being me, this would have been the exit ticket from the friendship. I feel like because it's hard to deal with people that see you as less than and don't want you to do better than them. You know what I'm saying? Which that's probably not the case. But me being on the outside looking in, I feel like, if my friends, because I have a best friend, you know what I'm saying? And my best friend don't ask me for shit. But if I got it on any given day, I'm sending it. If I went and got me a motherfucking brand new Gucci purse or whatever, and I know my best friend gonna look good in it, and I know that I got it, I'm gonna give it to her. If my best friend don't have the best car or whatever the case may be, but she doing her best, she trying, and if I have it, it ain't gotta be a motherfucking Porsche, but if I'm in a position, I'm gonna get you a more reliable car. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. That's just how I move. Like, my best friend's baby is my god baby. I have 2 kids of my own now, but I never disclude her from anything. When I go summer shopping for my kids, I get her kid something. When I go back to school shopping for my kid, I get her kid something, because that's just me, and that's just how I operate with my friend. My friend have came to me with plenty business proposals that it is that she wants to do. I don't have to be a part of her business proposals, but whatever it is she put her mind to, I always, tell her, she can do it. It's never gonna be after the conversation that she's gonna feel like um I'm not happy for her. You know what I'm saying? It should never be a thing where she feels like I'm jealous of anything it is that she doing. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like their whole friendship was an eye-opening friendship. I feel like maybe Shekinah needed to go through her storm or whatever it was that she went through, her demise, for her to see, like, just because you're attached to this person, like she said, that don't mean that, you're going to reap any benefit of that. But not even that, you're not just a stranger or an associate. This is, y'all consider each other to be best friends. But I feel like she had to go through that, to see it. And I feel like B.Simone needed to hear, like, you say that you're this changed person. Everybody is going through phases of their life where they have to do like internal work, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, you not as good of a person to the people that you need to be good to, because there's so many of her episodes where she's going through phases of saying how she's been so fucked up towards people or trying to project her life on, to other people. And I feel like she needs to do a lot more inner work, You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like needs to be done. Now I can see if it was a difference, if it was just a bitch that just wanted to be a leech and just wanted her best friend to just do everything for her. In this case, I don't feel like it was, because at the end of the day, regardless if her friend Shekinah, regardless if B.Simone gave Shekinah anything or didn't give her anything, she didn't harden her heart. You know what I'm saying? She's still this girlfriend and she still did everything that she needed to do. You know what I'm saying? As a mother, as a person that's struggling, as a person that just had a setback, she did that. She ain't get on social media and bash this girl. We didn't know what situation was taking place until they sat down, had this conversation, and the floor was open enough for them to, speak on that and vocalize those things or whatever the case may be. But I want to know like how you guys feel about it, because I feel like a lot of people have mixed feelings. Y'all see I talk with my hands. But a lot of people have mixed feelings about this situation, and I just really want to know how you guys feel about it. What's your insight on it? Like what's your take on this situation? I'm really open to hear about it. Let's have a conversation about it. Real Reflections crew. Y'all know what to do. You can send an email at let's reflect at proton, that's proton.me. You can DM on Instagram at Real Reflections 1. TikTok, however you guys want to do it. You can give a call at 630-796-8636. Leave a voicemail. Let me know how you guys feel about this topic, because I'm really interested to know everyone else's mindset or whatever, or mind frame when it comes to being attached to somebody with, being really closely attached to someone who has success. And what do you feel like the benefits should be? Because also another thing is a lot of people be successful on paper, but a lot of their success comes from assets. But it's a difference when you writing checks and cutting checks in front of somebody else while your best friend is bleeding. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, I don't know. I feel like the situation can go so many different ways, but I think it depends on what the scenario is. And in this current time, in this scenario, I feel like, B.Simone was in the wrong. And I feel like the friend was very mature enough to even tie it back to old situations where, you have been in situations where you have helped people or whatever the case may be, and maybe people fucked you over. But in this situation, I have showed you countless of time that I'm not the person that's gonna fuck you over. So even if God placed it on your heart to do it, are you going to stop yourself from helping me, or are you going to allow the trials and tribulations of you assisting other people tear you away from what God is calling you to do for, somebody else? But whatever. Now let's get into the next topic. Let's see what we got. Another topic I wanted to speak on, and y'all know, like I said, I'm not the most political person, but I do like to, speak on things that's happening in the world, because, like I said, some people wake up every day, they just existing or whatever, or they try to ignore, things that's taking place until it really affects them. But the freaking president has sneakily dropped bombs on Iran's nuclear sites. And in this case, I just really feel bad for our troops. I don't feel like it's necessary to fight in another war. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not deeply rooted in it. I don't know the reason behind it. I'm not even really sure how it would go, but just knowing that it's troops that and family members of these troops that has set out to sacrifice their lives to defend and fight for this country. But I feel like in this moment it's an unnecessary fight, and I don't feel like it's a war that's needed. I just feel like, preparation is always key or whatever the case may be. Just why I feel like during times like this, it's always best to stay prayed up, make sure your house is in order, and always like keep your mental sharp. how do you guys feel about it? Do I have anyone that's like in the military that's watching, or have any family member, spouse, or whatever in the military that could possibly be watching this? I just want to know, like, what's your intake on it? Like, what are you guys hearing from your significant other, family members, or whatever during this time, and how are you coping? During this, I know the Bible says, don't worry, but we're human at the end of the day. So worrying is, that's something that we do. So, I just would love to hear from you guys regarding that. Um, and our last and final hot topic that I wanted to speak about, it was Cheyenne. Chicago has been lit, or maybe, like I said, maybe it's because I've been getting more in tune and paying attention to, like, different things that I want to do or whatever, certain things I want to engage in. But this weekend was Black Yacht Weekend in Chicago. I did see that it was a lot of people from other states or whatever that flew out to be a part of this thing or whatever. I seen it on TikTok. I was watching a lot of people, like, the excitement or whatever for them to come over and just be a part of that experience. I fear boats. I don't know how to swim. I don't even think that, that's something that I would have done, but I do want to get over my fear. I do want to get on the boat. They have a boat where it's like dinner, lunch, brunch, and they also have like all different type of events. It's called the Odyssey Chicago. I do want to get on the boat. I am thinking of getting over my fear one of these days. Maybe booking a brunch or a lunch or something early, even though the night views are beautiful. And just doing that. But um during this weekend, it did bring a lot of sadness to Chicago, on all platforms or whatever. It was a beautiful young woman. What's so crazy is because I was just on her story. She's like a popular hairstylist in Chicago, and she passed away. Um I see a lot of different posts, a lot of different articles and things like that. I do feel like, anytime anyone is faced with like a tragic, because this is like a tragic thing, what I'm saying, it could happen to anybody. I feel like sometimes people need to learn how to be a little bit more, how can I say it, just have a little bit more sympathy and be more empathetic during, times like this, what I'm saying. So I am praying for like all of her friends and family, during this hard time. But it did look like they were having a blast, before the tragic event happened. So I'm just keeping her family, friends, and any other, because I've seen so many different stories floating around, but I'm not sure like what's really true. So I can't really speak on like, other things, but anybody else that had experienced like, anything during that time, I'm praying for them. And I know y'all study seeing me tilting up this little tumbler cup. Um, we are going to get into our drink of the day, right? So today our tasty drink of the day, I use my Bartesian machine. Y'all know I love me my Bartesian. The flavor I went with today is called, it's vodka sage pineapple steel. Now, I might have jumbled up the words, but that's what I use today. And of course, the liquor that I did use is vodka. But I mean, if you don't like vodka or whatever the case may be, the Bartesian does have certain settings where you can still put a different liquor in there, but long as you have the like rubber band faced on vodka or whatever, still gonna work. But what I did to it was I put a little bit of lemon juice in it or whatever, just so that it can have like that pineapple lemon type of flavor. The sage makes it really, it's really refreshing. I think that it's really a summer drink. I garnished it with a fruit strawberries. As you can see, this cup I got free being a subscriber for Bartesian, and I decided to use it. So it came with two cups. It was free. So the benefits of being a Bartesian subscriber, you do get a lot of free benefits, free things, and I feel like it came in handy. My drink is still cold. No, this is not a paid promotion. I just really love my Bartesian machine. So any chance I get to brag on it, I'm definitely gonna brag on it. I haven't really been drinking as much, so really the only time I use it is if I am recording a podcast episode or just casually drinking, or whatever the case may be, however you want to say it. But if you are not a Bartesian subscription member, or even if you don't have a Bartesian machine, I mean, I feel like just go ahead and get it. After, pay that thing if you got to, Klarna it, whatever, but just get it and become a subscription member, because you're getting benefits, and I feel like you get more bang for your buck. So go ahead, get you one. I'm just yapping, but today's topic, the main topic, I don't know. I decided to speak on this topic because I feel like this is just where I'm at in my life or whatever, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this topic. And so today we're going to reflect on, like, just being called to go silent, right? So I'm gonna title it "The Call to Go Silent." Or or even just to just be silent, or to even just be in a place of your life where you're just in solitude and you're just in isolation. Like, have you ever been in a space where you don't know what it is, but like literally you're just called to be silent? You're not engaging into things like how you normally would engage to things. You're not like, joining in conversations that you normally would be joined in. It's like you have no desire to like really pick up the phone. Like, I feel like even sometimes sending out a text message or responding back to a text message is just heavy. I feel like everyone goes through these phases of life where it's just like you don't want to be in certain spaces, you don't want to engage in certain conversations, you know what I'm saying? And it's nothing personal against nobody. It's just like you have absolutely no desire to communicate. And I feel like in this season of my life, I've been forced into this space. And don't get me wrong, because I visited this space before, which is why I feel like it's so important to have people around you that really understand you, and understand like when these things happen, because this can happen to anybody or whatever the case may be. um but like I said, I visited this space before, and anytime I visit this space, I know that it's me being called to go higher. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I feel like I'm forced into like isolation and solitude, is like I became so far away from things that I've been working on, and I'm being distracted. So I have absolutely no desire to do any outside things, communicate about any outside thing besides what it is that I've been working on, cuz maybe everything else is becoming a distraction to me. And in these times, I really just like to lock in and focus, or whatever the case may be. I really like to lock in and focus during these times, because what else, like, how else am I going to be able to do the things it is that I need to do if I'm putting my focus on all of the things that takes me, that's pulling me away from it? And I've been in this space before where I was forced into solitude and isolation. But it was different. This time I was called to build a relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like when God is calling you into isolation, it starts to feel like everything is going wrong in your life, or whatever the case may be. And instead of you sitting down, and really facing the problem, you study putting a band-aid on it, but the band-aid is old and it's steady coming off. I feel like when God wants you to sit in solitude and build a relationship with him, he's going to keep making things hard. Like he's going to grind. Like it's like he's going to like break you down where you have no other choice but to go into isolation, build a relationship with him, seek him, and you can't run away from this problem no more. Now you're forced with this problem, and I'm breaking you down so that you can call on me, because in this moment the only person that can help you is God. You know, and I feel like sometimes we go through situations and we are so wrapped up in pouring our problems on to other people when we don't even know what problems it is that they're going through. They can't help us with all our problems. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to seek higher. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to sit in solitude and isolation and just go and call on God. You know what I'm saying? When he wants his kids' attention, you know what I'm saying, and we get so wrapped up and we get so comfortable, he's definitely going to shake some things up. So that way it's, you got to call on me. You know what I'm saying? You only call on me when things are rough, but is you going to be able to call on me in your time of need? Nobody else can help you at this time. Nobody else can help you. The only person that can help you is me. You know, you got the anxiety. You don't want it to, you know, you going to therapists, they giving you coping mechanisms, but they just putting a band-aid on it. Sit down with God and pray. Please get this spirit up off of me. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you it is. You know, I promise you that that feeling will be lifted up off of you. You know, and I just feel like in this point of time, I'm being called into isolation to focus on the things that's gonna take me higher. You know, y'all know that song by Shekinah Glory, but Harmony took over it, called Yes or whatever. And I feel like that's me. Like I'm just at a point in my time like, okay, yes, God, I know that I'm being called higher. I know I need to sit down and I need to lock in and I need to focus. I know the conversations and the things that I've been engaging in do not always fit the path that I'm forced to be walking on. You know, I know that I have all these goals and stuff set out for my life, but I'm steady speaking on what it is that I'm gonna do, but I'm not putting forth the action to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, um time ain't on nobody, time is not on nobody's side. So it's like you gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something. Like what they say, like, yes, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm trying to just do that. And I also feel like, when you're in this space, sometimes you gotta do it. You don't owe nobody else no explanation. You don't owe people an explanation as to why you're pulling yourself back. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you do have a friend that has just randomly went ghost or whatever the case may be, don't consider it that they acting funny. You know what I'm saying? They're just being forced to go in a space where they really gotta focus. They gotta lock in. Some people's are goal driven. Some people's are because they need to sit and lock in with God. You know what I'm saying? They need to find themselves or whatever the case may be. So I feel like during those times, the people that you engage with and that you communicate with, it's important to have solid people around you that understand. Sometimes just send a text message, hey, I ain't heard from you, just checking in, trying to make sure that you good. You know what I'm saying? And those people that don't understand, they feel like you acting funny or whatever the case may be, they may be part of the problem. Maybe those are people that once you come out of this space, they're going to fall off. Some things hurt, but all friendships and all relationships aren't meant to go with you on every part and every peak of elevation of your life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're forced to come out of situation so that you can take a step back, review the situation. And when when you got your head in your game, you go back and be like, okay, these aren't the people that I need in my life. You know what I'm saying? It was cool while I was in it. You know what I'm saying? When I'm in it, it feel familiar. It feel good because I'm in it. I'm in it with you. But now that I had a reality check and I'm being pulled back, I'm paying attention to the things that you talk about, the way that you move, the way that you handle things, and I'm learning that this is just not for me. You feel what I'm saying? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, if you understand what I'm saying, or if you have been in this space, or even if you've been in this space before, if you're currently in this space, like, let me know what are some of your coping mechanisms. How did you feel once you came out of this space, or whatever the case may be. Just tune in. Let me know how you feeling. Speak with your girl, talk to your girl, and things like that. And I do have good news. I always try to have some type of good news. So I always do goals or whatever. I noticed that with Real Reflections, um I never try to do make everything based off numbers, or do a number thing, because like I said, this is a hobby, this is a diary for me, and I'm just speaking for people who could possibly relate to me, that may feel like I feel, that probably have been in situations that I have been in, or whatever the case may be. But I noticed that I was stuck at like 47 subscribers. So I had made a goal to myself, by August, I just want to, reach 50 subscribers at least. Because, like I said, my goal was always to build a community for people that can relate. But when I haven't checked today. Um, I surpassed my goal and I was at 53 subscribers. So I'm like, that's awesome. And that was my goal for August. We're already approaching July. So now I feel like I'm called to go higher. So I'm hoping that by August, end of August, maybe close to September, maybe I will reach 100 subscribers. Who knows? I'm just doing what I'm directed to do, having fun with it, building a community of women, men, whoever, what I'm saying, that just likes to reflect, that like to touch on, these scenarios and talk about things, just chit chat, just dilly dallying. But y'all know the next part of the show, we like to play a game. This segment of the show is called Catch Up. Today we're gonna play a game. We're gonna be silly, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is actually a game, but I was like, this is something that I want to do. So I'm gonna call the game Mumble, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mumble either a song or a part from a movie. And you have to let me know in the comments what you guys think that I'm saying, right? What you guys think that I'm saying. If it's a song, what song is it from? If it's a movie, what movie is it from? So, yes, let's play Mumble. Okay, let me see what I'm gonna say. Okay. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I think that this is hard. But I feel like if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, get them brains exercising. I think that you guys can get it. I'm going to say it one more time. Because if somebody get it, it's going to have me really crying. Okay. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Let me know what y'all think I said. And like I said, if you want to send an email, you can send an email. I will have clips up on Instagram. If you want to DM on Instagram, you can. Comment below, send an email, leave a voicemail, or whatever of what you guys think that I'm saying. What movie is it from? I'm gonna say it one more time. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. All right, because I know that I just been yapping and japping my mouth. And yeah. So let's get into the last and final segment of the show. And this part of the show is called Let's Reflect. This is when we use like a positive affirmation, a scripture, or anything that has just been getting you through the day or whatever, or that just motivates you, whatever the case may be. Today I'm gonna leave with an affirmation. My affirmation for today is anything is possible. And the reason why I'm saying anything is possible, because literally anything is possible. Whatever you speak out for your life, it can happen. You know what I'm saying? It might not happen now. It might not happen, you may not notice it to 3 years from now, but it's literally anything that you speak out that you want to happen is possible, and it can happen. It most definitely can happen. Like, even if it sounds crazy. I always talk about this, y'all. I always sit and say things may sound crazy, bizarre, non-realistic to people who's a non-believer that don't believe that anything can happen. But literally, if anything is possible, anything, literally anything is possible. But you got to make sure that as you're speaking it, you're putting in the work to get it done. You're putting in the work to get it done. But also guys, I do want to let you know before I let you go, I have good news. So I did go ahead and work on a 10-day journal. It's a real reflections journal. You know, it's a prompted journal for 10 days or whatever. I do have a free downloadable version of the journal. You can click the link, you can download it to, you can download it. It's editable. So if you want to edit the PDF and fill it in that way, or if you want to print the if you want to print out the journal, you can do it that way. Whatever and however it is that you want to utilize the journal, I feel like it is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to purchase like a hard copy of the journal, I also will have that available as well. You know, if you want to purchase a hard copy of the journal, but I would like for it to be, remain free. I don't want to, make any profit or anything up off of it. But if you want a hard copy of the journal, you can just reach out to me. Let me know. I'll be sure to, get you guys your hard copy. And I feel like if you do decide to utilize the journal, let me know, how did it make you feel? What were some of the benefits of it? Because as you guys know, I am a journaler. I love journals. I have so many journals that I have completed already. I have so many journals that I write in daily, and I always keep any journal that I have done, because eventually, I feel like it's sacred to me, and I'm going to keep them for my kids. Like, I want my daughter to be able to, even though, your journals are supposed to be sacred, but I'm going to make sure that my daughter can go back and read my journals. I want her to see, all of the struggles that I had, all of the success that I had, the way I manifested things over my life, etc., etc., etc. But I would like for you guys to give me feedback on this episode. How did this episode make you feel? Can you relate to anything that it was that I spoke about? On any of these topics? Are you worried about anything? Do you want to vent about anything? But as always, you can listen in on to the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, um you can follow on IG at Real Reflections One. Of course, YouTube is Real Reflections Podcast. All links will be below. Until next time, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to reflect with me, and I hope you all enjoy your day.